that. I'm not flicking down. There we go. Okay. The adrenal cocktail is 1. Let me just, if I can pop it in present mode. And these guys should stay in it. There we go. Cool. So adrenal cocktail is 1 that if you have SIBO, I still recommend you do have the adrenal cocktail. Okay, just make sure you have pulp-free juice, because I find that's the easiest to digest. We love it because of the vitamin C, potassium, sodium. So it's really, really rich in minerals, especially when you add the trace mineral drops to it as well. So depends. Everyone's like, when do I have it? Like, does it matter? It doesn't really matter. Some research says have it mid-morning or mid-afternoon when you're really craving those minerals. I used to have it in the afternoon when I wanted something sweet as a pick-me-up, or I would have it first thing in the morning before I'd go to the gym, because I wanted something in my system. I wanted some carbs in my system, but A, I didn't have time to eat, B, I didn't feel like eating, and C, I could just sip on this on the go. And I would do then orange juice, and then I would add coconut water, and also the cream of tartare, also the trace mineral drops as well. So I was kind of getting them all in there. I found that as a pre-workout was good for balancing our blood sugars, and it was in place of a coffee. Like, because if I had a coffee on an empty stomach, it wouldn't be good. I'd be way too wired. And I'm pretty wide in the morning anyway. I don't actually need a coffee to get up and going. But if you're struggling in the morning, adrenal cocktail can be really helpful. If you do, some people will not be able to handle. So let's chat about the gut issues. Some people will not be able to handle the orange juice because it will just be too much fructose. Okay, you can do like a squeeze of lemon. Oops, I put lemon in there twice. Lemon or lime or grapefruit juice. Like, you do a squeeze of that in some coconut water, and add your trace mineral drops to it and your cream of tartare if you want it as well. So the cheaper version is the cream of tartare, the salt, and just the orange juice. You can choose one of these potassium ones. So the standard one is just like your orange juice, your cream of tartare, your sea salt, and then also your collagen as well. But you can change it up. Like, I used to like to play around with the carbs in it and do a bit of orange juice, a bit of coconut water, bit of trace minerals, sometimes extra cream of tartare as well. So it just depends if you have the trace mineral drops on hand. To get started, I always just say the sea salt and the cream of tartare. Eden Health Food do a really good whole food vitamin C powder. So I would actually recommend that if you're taking vitamin C rather than ascorbic acid, because ascorbic acid isn't amazing for you, and can play around with your iron balance. So the vitamin C powder is awesome there. And then whisk in your collagen peptides, and then also some fat. So we've got your protein, carbs, fat content. Whisk in collagen, and then add in either, you can do regular cream, you can actually do a bit of regular milk. Like, if I was having it pre-workout, I would just chuck some milk in there, because I didn't need all the fats in it as much. Coconut cream, coconut milk is good. A lot of you have said you cannot mix your coconut cream into it. So there's 2 reasons for that. One, either you're buying, like, say, the good stuff, like the AM brand one, and the fats separate. So then just pour the whole thing out, put it through the blender, and then restore it in a glass jar. It might re-separate again. Or you can take a scoop of it out and whisk it in, or put your whole adrenal cocktail in the blender to make it super creamy. So if that is an issue for you, because the cream is really thick, but keep it out the fridge. Well, if you're getting it straight out the fridge, you might need to let it go to room temperature, because the coconut cream will solidify in the fridge because of the fats. So just whisk that really well, or blend that. Regular cream will be fine, that'll whisk through, and coconut milk or regular milk will go through as well. So your main ones are a bit of vitamin C, choose a potassium, get some sodium in it, and get some protein in it. Your carbs you've already picked prior, and then also add some fat to it as well. So we've got that protein, carb, fat content, And then we've also got your minerals in it too. The other thing was the raw carrot salad, okay? So the raw carrot salad, you want to try and have this daily. Again, another big one from Kitty Bloomfield, but it's big on detoxing that estrogen and those toxins, okay? The fiber from the carrots helps with constipation. So you can just eat raw carrots as well. The benefit of having the raw carrot salad is it actually has some of the apple cider vinegar, that olive oil and coconut oil in as well. So again, it's a little bit more balanced, and you can up it, make it a bit fancy as well. Add some lemon, add some raisins or some feta or some honey, or a lot of people love grating the carrot, grating the apple, then adding your apple cider vinegar and your olive oil or coconut oil on it, which makes it really tasty, and a bit of sea salt. So you can play around with it. Again, if you're don't make it regularly like me, you can just have raw carrots. I'd say around 2 raw carrots a day is going to be really helpful. Again, they say between meals, but I would just say do what you're going to be consistent with. For me, it's having a couple carrots mid-morning when I have my yogurt and banana and stuff. I'm going to be consistent with that, because 2 carrots is not enough food for me at one meal, and a raw carrot salad is definitely not enough food for me at a meal. So I would then have to then turn it into lunch if I was making the salad, and add boiled eggs or salmon or something else to it to actually make it a meal, because like I said, a carrot's not going to fill me up. So basically you grate the carrots, you add a teaspoon apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of olive oil, and then you can add your extras on top if you want to up it a bit. But have that every day, have your adrenal cocktail every day, and then also get the beef liver in, okay? So my thing here is you can definitely take it as capsules if you don't like it as pate, but A, it is more expensive as capsules, and B, you never get as much in it. So the way I do it is I buy the beef liver from the butchers, and you always buy it frozen because they're not going to keep them fresh because they don't sell that much. I defrost it. I thinly slice it into, I want to say, double domino size, so reasonable kind of chunks, around that 15 to 20 grams. I then freeze that on baking paper so it doesn't stick together, because if you chuck it all in a container and freeze it, it'll just freeze as a hard lump again. So I put baking paper and freeze it on a plate. The next day I pull it out, I pull all the bits off, and I chuck it in a container. Then every morning I pull a bit out and I fry it up with lots of olive oil or butter and a heap of salt and seasoning, and I just fry it till it's crispy on each side, and I just eat it, and it's 15 to 20 grams, so it is not big at all. And I have that every morning, and then I chuck my mushrooms straight in, and I make my omelette straight after that. So I do that every day. I have taken capsules from time to time as well. I just take so many other supplements that I do get kind of sick of taking so many capsules. And obviously fresh is always going to have more bang for your buck, especially because it's so cheap to buy. The other option that some people do is when they buy it, they slice it even thinner than me and in smaller bits, and then every morning they pull a thin slice out and they chop it up into small little bits, and they just swallow that raw with coconut water. So you don't chew it, you literally just chop it into tiny bits and you just swallow that. I don't mind cooking mine, and some people say don't eat it raw because you can get bacterial issues. Other people say it's fine, you do your own research. I don't like the idea of eating it raw, especially because I have a history of gut issues, so I don't really want to put myself at risk of that, but and I don't mind frying it. So, and I've got the time. If you don't have the time, you can either make pate, which is super easy, or you can, now I've asked about getting it minced so I can chuck it through my beef mince, but they need a minimum of 5 kilos. So if you have a mincer, mince it at home and chuck it through other meals, because you don't need a lot per week. 100 grams a week is not a lot. So you could make meatballs for the week and put 100 grams of your beef liver into your 500 grams or a kilo of meatballs or something. So, you know, if you're the only one eating it, for example. So just think about that and go, oh, or you have one meal per week where you have 100 grams of liver in it. So think of ways you can get it into your diet. For me, it's easy to fry a little bit every day, but I understand that's not doable for everyone. Then the other things I really like to focus on is zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B. These things you do all get blood tested at the start. So I like to incorporate oysters, but they're really hard to get fresh and frozen sometimes. So capsules can be the best way for that. If your zinc levels are adequate, which your blood test will show, then I wouldn't be stressing about having oysters, okay? Vitamin A, so butter and ghee are really important for the conversion of iron, as well as the beef liver for copper, okay? If you're not getting enough copper in and you're not getting enough vitamin A in, you're probably going to be deficient in iron. Vitamin D, especially in winter, and then your B vitamins as well, which again, your beef liver is rich in Bs, especially B12. Chuck it in Chronometer and have a look. It's mind-blowing. All right, cool. Any questions, make sure you guys reach out and let me know. Now I'm just going to stop sharing with that and stop recording.